Shalom. Shalom, giving all praises, glory, and honors unto Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, by Hashem Kakodash, double honors to the apostles, bishops, elders of great millstone. Peace and blessings to the 144,000 rest of the hopeful elect out there. This is your brother, Peter Zion from GMS Atlanta, back with another edifying video. And we have a few headlines to read into. There's a number of different protests that are happening, and I'm noticing a lot more countries around the world are dealing with these different crises that are having people rise up. So this here is from my news. It's out of Indonesia. It says most deadly 100 days. Indonesia's Prabowo faces major student protests against costly policies. And usually that's who protests, young people, students, those on college campuses, and those fighting against things like higher taxes and low working wages. And that's, a trend for, revolutions and protests in general. It says students protest across the country underline Prabowo's blunder and mediocre cabinet, but are unlikely to rock national politics, analysts note. So you see they're in Indonesia protesting. It says 4 months into his presidency, Indonesia's Prabowo Subianto is facing his first nationwide student protest, whose demands include a thorough evaluation of his costly programs, cabinet choices, and austerity-driven budget cuts. And that term, austerity measures, has been used a lot over the last 10, 15 years, which shows you that it's a trend amongst these different governments to put the pressure on the people. The protest, dubbed Indonesia Gelap, or Dark Indonesia, took place on Monday and Tuesday in several cities across the country, such as Jakarta, Bandung, Surabaya, Semarang, and Bali. But the pinnacle of the movement will occur in front of the presidential palace in Jakarta on Thursday, according to Herianto, coordinator at All Indonesia Association of University Student Executive Bodies, or BEMSI. The protests on Monday and Tuesday were simultaneous in every region, but the peak is tomorrow in front of the palace and only in Jakarta. Now, if you're familiar with the 501 protests that happened here in the U.S. against Trump and this administration recently, that was a protest, which represented protesting in different cities all at one time, and then one major protest. So, I believe these different protests around the world are set up because they're using the same tactics. If you've been paying attention and you can read through the lines, but at the end of the day, no matter whether they set up or grassroots or not, sincere or not, it's still Bible prophecy, man. It's still working in favor of the Lord's plan, right? God's plan, which is to end this society, end these heathen, end Esau and these other heathen and their sovereignty in the earth, and bring in the true kingdom underneath the Israelites. So-called black Hispanics and Native Americans are to rule in the future. So these protests that are taking place is just a sign of the times of the end of the white man's rulership. Now it says Thursday is the inauguration day of elected regional heads by the president in Jakarta, Herianto told This Week in Asia. Protesters are also calling for a mass demonstration of civil disobedience by foregoing work on Friday to join the action in front of the palace. And, when you read the scriptures, it speaks about they should not regard their kings or princes or their rulers. And the fact that you have now recently, within the last 4 or 5 years, these different protests are now not just going into the streets and marching with picket signs, but they're going to these governmental buildings, state capitals and parliament and palaces where their rulers and their elected officials are located, and they're protesting there, even going to some of their homes. So this is definitely a manifestation of the scriptures. Okay, matter of fact, let me get that. Let's go to Second Ezra, or Second Ezra. I like to say Ezra because it's the same Ezra from the regular Bible, the regular King James, the 66th book, King James. So this is Second Ezra, chapter 15, and I'll go straight to the point. Verse 16. It says, "For there shall be sedition among men," right, or an uprising, and invading one another, right? So these are these are protests that are happening. They shall not regard their kings nor princes. This is why they're going into these palaces and these parliaments and capitol buildings, doing what they're doing, because they're protesting against their rulers, not just their policies, but against them themselves and their policies. And the course of their actions, right, going to these governmental buildings, and the course of their actions shall stand in their power. So this is happening. Okay, this is happening in real time, around the world. Okay, protests, civil unrest, civil disobedience. Okay, and in a lot of these places, the rulers would send out the military and introduce curfews, like soft martial law. Okay, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, they institute curfews. You can't go into the city after a certain time. For because of their pride, the city shall be troubled, the houses shall be destroyed, and men shall be afraid. And that's going to lead to more anarchy and chaos in the streets. This is just the beginning. Okay? Now the next article here, ABC News. Okay, this is the same thing. Thursday, February 20th, so last Thursday, student protests have erupted in Jakarta as Indonesia's government cut budgets. Okay, so that's one reason why that they're protesting. It says, in short, the Indonesian government is implementing widespread budget cuts affecting travel, office supplies, and electricity use for civil servants and the country's ministries and agencies. Well, all these different governments are attacking their government workers. Here in the U.S., they're being fired. Over there, overseas, they're cutting off their supplies. They can't travel how they want. It says the austerity measures have sparked nationwide student protests under the Dark Indonesia movement, with demonstrators opposing the reallocation of education and health funds. What's next? The students said they will continue to fight and demand answers from the government. So that's the prophecy I just read. Okay. So what's more to what more can you really say when it comes to what's happening around the world, that there's not something that's happening of biblical proportions. Okay, let's go to the Blue Letter Bible, and I want to get Luke. I believe it's Luke the 21st chapter, Luke 21, and I want to read Luke 21, and here we go, in 9. It says, "But when you shall hear of wars and commotions, be not terrified, for these things must first come to pass, but the end is not by and by." So Yahushua was speaking on, he was speaking on things that were to come in the earth, that's to come to pass. It's prophecy, but it's not the end. It's a sign of the end. All right, before Yahushua returns. So now I want to read this same verse here, but I want to get it in. Let's see which version. And I brought this out before, but I want to get it in another translation of the scriptures. I want to try for the Amplified Bible. So let's read this in the Amplified Bible. I want to show you something. Here we go. Yep, this is it. Luke 21 and 9. It says, "When you hear of wars and disturbances," right, civil unrest, revolts, uprisings, right, another word for that is protest, sedition, okay, "do not panic, for these things must take place first." So what we're seeing has to take place, okay, but the end will not come immediately. So we're not, what we're seeing is a sign of the end. It's prophecy, it has to take place, but it's not going to bring in the end of this place, tomorrow or next week. But we're close. Number one, first, the micro C-hip implant, the MOTB, the mark has to be introduced pursuant to Revelation, the 13th chapter. Okay? That has to take place. But for now, you got these protests and these uprisings taking place, which soon Yahushua himself is going to return. Okay? So we just got to continue to watch for the signs. So, with that, I'm going to end it here. Hope this was edifying. Be constantly, watching and, preparing yourself in the spirit. We're coming to the time of the Passover this year. So, continue to reflect, repent, and be on fire. Be on fire for the truth. Okay, because we're definitely at the end, man. This guy, Trump, with his rechargeable battery pack, Elon Musk, man, is running amok. So, we got to be spiritually vigilant and as watchmen, true watchmen. All right, and this is doom. This is also a sign of the end. Is also a sign of doom that's coming to the society. So are we doomsday prophets? Yeah. You got this guy Elazar from the Sakar saying that he's not some kind of doomsday preacher or doomsday prophet. Well, we are doomsday preachers and doomsday prophets. Matter of fact, let me get Because doom, right? I want to get Ezekiel 7 real quick, and I just want to bring this out, man. Right? This is from Ezekiel 7 and 6. You know what? I'm gonna read Ezekiel 7 and 5, and you tell me if this is not doom. And this is in the Amplified Bible. It says, "Thus said the Lord Yahweh, a disaster is coming, one so destructive and injurious, so sudden and violent that it stands alone. A unique disaster. Look, it is coming." That's doom. To say that a disaster and destruction is coming, you look, the ancient prophets such as Ezekiel, I just read out of the book of Ezra and the Apocrypha, the second book. That's doom that they're speaking on. Okay? Civil unrest, and well, I read that in Luke. Yahweh Shah himself is a doomsday prophet. So I don't know what this guy Alazar is talking about and saying that the destruction and the deliverance of Yahweh Shah and his return could be anywhere between now and 1,000 years. No, look at the prophecies, man. You not see what's happening? It's going to come very soon. Anyway, verse 6, "An end is coming. The end has come. It has awakened against you." Right, we're in the time of the end awakening and showing itself and manifesting through prophecy that this society is doomed. Look, it has come. Okay? Let me see. See something. Ooh. Now, this is in the Amplified Bible. And I typed in the word for doom. Right. Same thing. Okay, so let me go back. See, Ezekiel 7 and 7. So all I had to do was just go down one more verse, and I would have found it. So let me read this. Ezekiel 7 and 7. Right? I read verse 6. I read 5 and 6. I'm going to read verse 5 again. "An end is coming. The end has come. It has awakened against you. Look, it has come." Verse 7. "Your doom has come to you, O inhabitant of the land. The time has come. The day is near. Tumult rather than joyful shouting on the mountains." So if Alazar and Sakar and them are thinking that they're going to be here and just live out their lives and grow old and preach and make money off of the ministry, and then in another lifetime Yahweh Shah is going to come, no, it's going to come in your lifetime. It's going to come in our lifetime now. So all that joyful making money and thinking you're going to survive and preach the word the way you want to preach it as you see fit, no. Okay? We're in a time not for joyful shouting, but tumult and doom and the end of this society. So I just wanted to say that as like a side note. As you can see that these protests and these prophecies are all signs of the end. And this is just one country out there in Indonesia, but there's a lot more. Look at this, man. Okay? And look, they got their smartphones out. The revolution, so to speak, is being televised. So they're going to post it on the social medias, on the internet. They're burning tires. Students. Okay? They shall not regard their kings nor princes. So this is a sign of doom. So with that, I'm going to end it there. All praises goes to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakwadash. You tell me if this isn't a sign of doom in the end. So with that, double honor to the apostles, bishops, elders, teachers, prophets, doomsday prophets, men of great millstone. Shalom to the hopeful elect out there. To the next video. Shalom.